Yo, what's going on guys? Koi here. Today we're going to be doing another video, this time on, let's see, how do you say, farming units for Evo. So if you don't know how to Evo a character, Evoing a character is pretty easy. I bring it up in my new guides playlist on my front page of my YouTube channel now. As you can see, I do have some characters that I already have not Evoed yet. So over here I need explosive marines, I need intelligent marines. It's quite a bit of marines to farm. And there's two ways to do this. Sadly, one of them does require having the trait Midas. Now, Midas is a very, very useful trait, almost confirms the dropping of characters. And the characters that you can get from this, it really just depends on the way that you farm. Now, I definitely do not agree with you using the story mode in any way, shape, or form besides infinite mode. If you are not using infinite mode, then you are literally wasting your own time. There's no other possible way to get these good of chances with this many characters at the same time. Now, for those newer players, it's going to be a lot harder to do this compared to the older players. Now, the reason I say that is because with a lot of the newer players, you're not going to be having that many AoE characters. And I will drop some recommendations when we'll talk about some whenever we go into the next segment of the video. But right now, I'm just going to show you the two ways that I would do it and the two ways that I do it all the time. One of them is actually through my main character, which is Yuji. Sadly, he did get nerfed. I do have D minus on his thing right now. As you can see, boom, regular Marine. Two regular Marines. He's got Midas right now. That's going to be another regular Marine. And as you can see, that's pretty good rates. Now, if I do this with Luffy, less frequent. As you can see, I'm not getting confirmed. Now, with the chances that do increase based off the confirmation, I could tell you for sure it's almost near 100% chance to get the character that you're killing based off of getting Midas. So that is pretty cool. The only issue is that this does work with bosses as well. From the last video that I did do, if say you're doing like boss farming, this would definitely be the way to do it. But the other thing that you have to take into consideration is if you do not have a AoE based character, you're not going to hit that many at the same time. Now, I do have to make this very, very clear, but there are some maps that are much harder to farm than other maps. For instance, Cut Island is the hardest map to actually farm Evo on because the characters almost never get hit. And it's very, very tough that they don't get hit because the map is too big. And as you can see, even if I hit them, they're going to get either stuck behind those boxes or they're going to take forever to run over here. And, it just really depends on you and what character you're using. Obviously, I think Yuji has the biggest hitbox out of most characters in the game because of the Malevolent Shrine. And the Malevolent Shrine is the only reason why you would use Yuji compared to any other character in the game, especially since there's so many good recommended characters. For instance, Mayuri. Mayuri's Bankai is massive. And as you can see, I'm getting a lot of guaranteed characters here. Now, I'm just going to show you guys based off of me using Luffy. Luffy as Vampire, not Midas. And I'm going to show you guys the fact that we're not going to get as many guaranteed characters, but it's still a good chance because it's infinite mode and we'll get like one or two. As you can see, there you go, 2 characters compared to the 5 that I got earlier. Does not confirm it all the time. So, yes, Midas is kind of needed. And with Midas, you could also end up getting certain boss characters and stuff like that. Just really depends. So we're going to go ahead and go next into the next segment is character recommendations for you guys to help with which characters are probably going to be the most useful to actually farm farm really, really good chances at getting these characters. So let's go ahead and do that part real quick. All right, so in this segment of the video, we're going to go ahead and talk about some characters that can definitely clear infinite mode at the highest chance, like with the biggest AoEs and everything like that, as fast as possible, because this is like what we're kind of aiming for. So for those newer players, we're going to go over the tier list and we're going to go ahead and go through some alternatives to dealing with a lot of characters at the same time, some mythical picks and some normal picks. Some of the picks do require some farming to be even better than they are, but that really just depends on you. Some good early game picks. Obviously, we're looking at Ichigo here, pre-release. Release Ichigo. We have Diable Jambe Sanji, Timeskip Sanji. We have Asta. All these guys, massive AoE. If you could get Himikami Kagura, Sun Breathing Tanjiro, this one is also very impressive for early game. Super cheap to Evo, and those moves are pretty big, especially after they got revamped. So very, very nice. Now, if we start talking about some characters that are just super, a little harder to get, whether they require summoning to get or whether they require some type of work to do, that definitely has to make sense because some of these guys 1% drop gents in story mode, very very hard to get, and you have to take that into consideration. So let's go ahead and dip into those guys. So some of the recommendations I would definitely give is definitely none of these early, like none of these guys really. Definitely we're starting with like UG and up. So UG hits domain expansion, obviously, at the beginning of the video. I showed that. Over here we have Jidamba. This dude is just ridiculous. He's got lots of AoE, massive damage, kind of clears everything. So that's kind of the mode that we're kind of aiming for. Same thing with Kenpachi. He could throw out those slashes. He's got good range. He's not exactly got the greatest of range, but at least he has slashes. Ichigo and Visored Mask does have some good range, good ability damage, splash damage, lots of ranged abilities. Byakuya is all right, but he's more defensive, less range abilities. That I would not recommend him. Like for infinite mode, I would recommend. I would not recommend Sanji because he just doesn't have big AOE. He's like a boss killer type deal. Same thing with Grimjaw solo boss killer. Kid Buu, he does have some AoE, but yet again, he is more like a boss killer. But I would still recommend him because he's got like lots of like the acid rain, not the acid rain, the rain ability that does some AoE. It's kind of nice. He's also very fast. He runs around the map quite a bit, pretty quickly. We have I don't know if like Kid is super crazy at infinite mode. He's fast. Don't get me wrong. He does lots of AoE damage. He's very fast. He's very consistent. But it's really hard to say if he's actually going to be worth picking. We have Vegito, obviously. Vegito in pre-evolution, kind of hard to farm with. I gotta say, really hard to farm with whenever it comes down to AoE skills. Post-evolution, very good. Very good AoE skills. Massive AoE skills at that. We have Luffy. Luffy's obviously an amazing pick. He's just got AoE out the wazoo. Even the early game AoE, he's got his elephant guns, which are just ridiculously good. We have Renji. Renji has lots of AoE moves, believe it or not. Very much a splash damage unit. Very fun to use. Uh, Mayori, amazing unit. Just can't go wrong with this guy. Biggest Bankai splash damage ever. Like freaking massive, massive Bankai splash damage. You get him on one side, he'll just start clearing the entire zone. So it's like very, very cool to see him work. Obviously, Ukiora, literally massive splash damage all over the map. No problem. When he goes into Segunda, even better. He just becomes an absolute nuker. So for killing like a bunch of enemies very, very quickly, he's definitely the way to go. Zoro, he's not in the game yet. This is more of a meme to have him in here. But obviously, he is going to be very useful at clearing, so that's more for future notice. Some honorable mentions, I would say, would definitely be Doflamingo. He does have one AoE skill, but if you're going to be farming for a character that has an AoE skill, there's so many other people that have more AoE skills than him. So he only has like one really good one. The rest, not so much. We have Law, Law and Toshiro, and Pito. These guys, they're very good. They have lots of they have lots of AoE damage. The only issue is that there's just so many characters up here that do way more than them. So it's like not very necessary to run these guys at all. Orihime does have some splash damage, but I would not recommend her. I wouldn't even consider her an honorable mention in that regard because she's just so okay at best. Well, that does it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell down below to stay notified in all future events. See you guys later. Don't forget to hit up the links down below. We have the Discord and everything like that. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Peace.